A 35-year-old couple with $180,000 in their 401k will pay roughly $64,000 in hidden fees before retirement. They will never see a line item for it, never get a bill, the money just disappears. And their financial advisor, the one who helped them do everything right, gets a cut of it. This is not a scam. This is how the system is designed. There is a standard American financial script. Get a 401k, max it out if you can, diversify your portfolio, hire an advisor when your assets justify it, buy life insurance to protect your family, invest in managed mutual funds because professionals know better than you do. This advice comes from everywhere. Your human resources department on your first day of work, your parents who want you to be responsible, financial institutions with marble lobbies and reassuring commercials, personal finance articles that all say roughly the same thing. Following this plan is considered the hallmark of financial maturity. You are adulting correctly. You are thinking long-term. You are not living paycheck to paycheck like those irresponsible people who spend everything they earn. When you tell people you are maxing out your 401k and working with a financial advisor, you get approving nods. You are doing what you are supposed to do. People who question this system are often dismissed. They are called conspiracy theorists. They are told they do not understand how wealth building works. They are labeled as irresponsible or naive. The message is clear: trust the system, trust the experts. This is how responsible people build wealth in America. But here's what that script does not tell you. The United States financial services industry generates approximately $1.5 trillion in annual revenue. That number comes from somewhere. It does not appear out of thin air. It comes from the people using financial products. It comes from you. The entire system is structured around recurring revenue extraction, not one-time service fees for actual work performed. Recurring extraction, money that flows out of your accounts month after month, year after year, whether you are aware of it or not. According to the Center for American Progress, the average American worker loses $138,336 to 401k fees over their lifetime. Read that again, $138,000. That is not lost to bad investments or market downturns. That is lost to fees. Here is another number. Front-loaded whole life insurance policies pay agents commissions equal to 50 to 110% of the first year's premium, which means if you pay $6,000 in your first year, your agent might receive $6,600 before you have built any cash value at all, before your family has received any benefit. The commission comes first. The person following the advice rarely knows where their money is going because disclosure is deliberately obscured. Fees are described in percentages that sound small, 0.5%, 1%. These numbers do not trigger alarm. They sound reasonable, modest even, but percentages hide the actual extraction. Let me introduce you to someone. Call her Sarah. She is 38 years old. She earns $75,000 a year. She has been maxing out her 401k for 12 years. She has $240,000 saved. She feels proud when she checks her statement every quarter. She believes she is doing great. She is doing exactly what she was told to do. What Sarah does not see is that she has already paid roughly $18,000 in fees, and she will pay another $120,000 before she retires. Her advisor, who meets with her once a year for 45 minutes, makes $2,400 annually from her account alone. Sarah thinks the advice is free because the company pays for it. But the company does not pay for it. Sarah pays for it. The fee just comes out of her returns before she ever sees them. This is the hidden reality. You can do everything right and still be feeding a system designed to extract wealth from you. 401k plans have 3 layers of fees. Most investors never see them itemized. Layer 1 is expense ratios. These are fund management fees. They typically range from 0.3% to 1.5% annually. Layer 2 is administrative fees. Record keeping, compliance, legal paperwork, often $50 to $150 per year, plus additional basis points. Layer 3 is advisory fees. If your plan includes an advisor, usually 0.5% to 1% of assets under management. Here is the critical part. These fees are charged as percentages of your total balance, not percentages of your growth. You pay them even in years when you lose money. Even when your account value drops, the fees keep coming out. Let me show you what this means in actual numbers. Take a $200,000 balance with 1.5% in total fees. That is $3,000 per year. Sounds manageable, but over 25 years at 7% growth, the difference between paying 0.5% in fees versus 1.5% in fees is approximately $180,000 in lost wealth. This is not because of bad performance. This is because of compounding fee erosion. In 2012, A lawsuit against Walmart's 401k plan revealed that participants were paying an average of 1.14% in total fees. This was costing employees an estimated $13 million annually. Walmart settled the lawsuit for $13.5 million. But here is the important part. The problem was not illegal fees. The problem was legal, undisclosed wealth extraction. The fees were allowed. They were just hidden well enough that most employees had no idea how much they were actually paying. The Department of Labor has published research showing that a 1% fee difference over 35 years reduces retirement savings by 28%, not 2.8%. 28%. Nearly a third of your wealth disappears not because you made bad choices, not because the market crashed, but because of fees you probably did not even know you were paying. Now let us talk about actively managed mutual funds. These funds charge higher fees than index funds. The average actively managed fund charges 0.66%. The average index fund charges 0.04%. That is a difference of 0.62%, which sounds tiny until you run the numbers over decades. Here is what makes this particularly problematic. Over 90% of actively managed funds fail to beat their benchmark index over 15 years. This data comes from the S&P SPIVA scorecard, which tracks this exact question year after year. 90% fail to beat the simple index they are being compared against. Despite this, financial advisors consistently recommend managed funds over index funds. Why? Because managed funds pay advisors, index funds typically do not. This creates a fundamental conflict of interest. The best advice for the client is the worst advice for the advisor's income. Let me give you a specific example. American Funds Growth Fund of America has an expense ratio of 0.61%. Vanguard S&P 500 Index Fund has an expense ratio of 0.04%. Both invest primarily in large United States stocks. Over the past 20 years, the Vanguard Fund has outperformed 83% of the time. On a $300,000 portfolio, the difference in fees alone is $1,710 per year. Over 20 years, that is $34,200 just in fees, not including the lost compounding on that money. So why do advisors push managed funds? Many managed funds pay advisors through revenue sharing agreements. These are essentially kickbacks. A 2019 SEC study found that 33% of advisors received payments from fund companies. The investor never sees this transaction. It happens behind the scenes. Your advisor recommends a fund, you invest. The fund company pays your advisor. You think you are getting objective advice. You are actually watching a sales commission happen in slow motion. But the worst offender in this entire system is whole life insurance. It is marketed as forced savings, as wealth building, as a smart way to protect your family while growing money tax-free. The reality is that it is the most profitable product in the insurance industry for agents. The commission structure tells you everything you need to know. Agents typically receive 50 to 110% of the first year's premium. Then they receive 2 to 10% trailing commissions for as long as you keep the policy. Meanwhile, most whole life policies return 1 to 3% annually after fees over 20 plus years. Let me show you the math. Say you buy a whole life policy with a $500 monthly premium, that is $6,000 in the first year. Your agent receives $6,000 in commissions, sometimes more. Your cash value in year one, often $0 to $400. The rest goes to commissions, fees, and the insurance company's profit. After 10 years, you have paid $60,000 in premiums. Your cash value might be $32,000. If you had put that same $500 per month into an S&P 500 index fund, you would have approximately $102,000 at a 7% average return. That is a $70,000 difference for doing the responsible thing, for buying life insurance like you were told to do. Why is whole life recommended so aggressively? Because a single sale can generate $10,000 or more in commissions. No other financial product pays this well. Agents are trained to sell it using fear. What if you die and your family has nothing? They sell it using tax advantages, tax-free growth. They minimize the cost structure. They never show you the comparison I just showed you. Northwestern Mutual, one of the largest whole life insurers, has paid out over $200 billion in dividends to policyholders since 1857. That sounds impressive until you realize they collected over $30 billion in premiums in 2022 alone. The payout ratio reveals the profit extraction. Then there are the fee-only financial advisors. These are supposed to be the good ones. They do not take commissions. They charge a transparent fee based on assets under management, usually 0.5 to 1.5%. This sounds reasonable until you calculate it over decades. A $500,000 portfolio at 1% equals $5,000 per year. For advice that might take 10 hours of work annually, that is $500 per hour. And here is the key part. As your wealth grows, the fee grows, but the work does not. A $1 million portfolio means $10,000 per year for the same amount of work. Consider a financial advisor with 100 clients averaging $400,000 in assets under management each. That is $40 million total. At 1%, that advisor is generating $400,000 in annual revenue. Even with overhead and support staff, this is an enormously profitable business model built on recurring extraction. And here is the perverse incentive. The advisor is not paid to make you wealthy quickly. They are paid to keep you invested in their system for as long as possible. Your financial independence means their lost revenue. They need you to believe that investing is complicated, that you need their expertise, that doing it yourself is dangerous. Because if you figure out that investing is actually simple, they lose you as a client. Let me tell you about James and Maria, both 42 years old. Household income $140,000. They have done everything right. They maxed out their 401k plans for 15 years and now have $680,000 combined. They bought whole life insurance policies and pay $800 per month. They work with a financial advisor who charges 1% of assets under management. They own a home with a mortgage. They have 2 kids with college funds started. By every conventional measure, they are responsible, mature, financially successful adults. They also feel stressed about money constantly. They cannot figure out why they are not getting ahead faster. They earn good money, they save aggressively, they follow professional advice. Yet they still feel anxious about retirement, unable to take extended time off, trapped in their jobs, confused about why wealth building feels so slow. Here is their hidden reality. Their combined 401k balance is $680,000. Their average total fees are 1.2% annually. That is $8,160 per year. Over the 15 years they have been saving, they have already paid approximately $72,000 in fees. The projected fees until retirement, another 23 years, will be roughly $312,000. Their whole life insurance policies, $800 per month for 10 years equals $96,000 paid. Their combined cash value is $54,000. If they had bought term life insurance for $100 per month and invested the $700 difference in an index fund, they would have approximately $134,000. The agents who sold them these policies have collected roughly $48,000 in commissions. Their financial advisor, $680,000 times 1% equals $6,800 per year. Over 15 years, they have paid $102,000 to their advisor. They meet twice per year for a total of about 3 hours. That is an effective hourly rate of $2,266 for the advisor's time. Added up, they have already paid $222,000 to the financial system. They will pay an additional $450,000 or more before retirement. Total extraction, $672,000, almost as much as their current 401k balance. James and Maria are not building one fortune, they are building 2 fortunes, theirs and their financial institutions, and they have no idea because no one ever showed them the math in these terms. If they had used low-cost index funds with 0.04% fees instead of 1.2%, if they had skipped whole life, bought term insurance, and invested the difference, if they had self-managed or used a flat-fee advisor instead of an assets under management model, their current $680,000 balance would be closer to $920,000. They would have an additional $240,000 working for them, instead of for Wall Street. This is their story, but it is also your story. This is why you feel stuck even when you are doing everything right. The financial advice industry is not designed to make you wealthy. It is designed to make you a good client. And a good client is someone who stays in the system, keeps feeding it, never quite reaches escape velocity. Because if you actually became financially independent, if you learned that investing is simple, that you do not need active management, that most financial products are wealth traps, you would stop being a client. You would stop generating revenue. The entire $3 trillion industry depends on convincing people that money is complicated, that they need experts, that doing it yourself is reckless. It is not. The reckless thing is outsourcing your financial future to people who profit from your confusion. So what do you do about it? You audit what you are actually paying. Request a fee disclosure document from your 401k provider. They are required by law to provide it. Look for expense ratios, administrative fees, advisory fees, add them up, multiply by your current balance. That number is what you are paying this year. If you have a financial advisor, calculate their fee in actual dollars, not percentages. If you have whole life insurance, request an in-force illustration showing cash value versus premiums paid. Most people discover they are paying $5,000 to $15,000 per year in various fees they did not know existed. Seeing the actual number changes everything. Then make the switch to low-cost index funds. If your 401k offers index fund options like an S&P 500 fund or a total stock market fund, switch to those. If your plan does not offer low-cost options, contribute only up to the company match, then open a Roth IRA at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Put everything above the match into your Roth IRA invested in a simple 3-fund portfolio: United States stocks, international stocks, bonds. Total annual fees can be under 0.1%. If you have whole life insurance, run the numbers. Calculate what you have paid versus your cash value. Calculate what you would have if you had invested that money instead. Then consider surrendering the policy, buying a term life policy for a fraction of the cost, and investing the difference. Yes, you will take a loss on the whole life policy. That money is already gone. The question is whether you want to keep losing money going forward. If you have a financial advisor charging assets under management fees, ask yourself what you are actually getting for that money. If they are providing tax planning, estate planning, complex financial strategy, maybe it is worth it. But if they are just rebalancing your portfolio once a year and telling you to stay the course, you are paying thousands of dollars for something you can do yourself in an afternoon. The simple path looks like this: invest in low-cost index funds, automate your contributions, rebalance once a year, ignore the noise. That is it. This is not exciting. It will not make you feel like you are doing something sophisticated, but it works. And it keeps your money working for you instead of for someone else. Here is what the financial industry does not want you to know. Investing is not complicated. It has been made to seem complicated because complexity justifies fees, but the data is overwhelming. Low-cost index investing beats actively managed investing more than 90% of the time over the long term. You do not need someone to pick stocks for you. You do not need someone to time the market for you. You need to buy the whole market at the lowest cost possible and let compounding do its work. The reason this message is not everywhere is because there is no money in it. Vanguard cannot pay financial advisors big commissions to recommend their index funds because the fees are too low. There is no profit margin. Whole life insurance companies cannot pay agents 5-figure commissions on term life policies because term life is too cheap. The products that are best for you are worst for the people selling financial products. You have been taught that financial responsibility means engaging with the financial system, hiring advisors, buying insurance products, investing in managed funds, but actual financial responsibility means understanding that the system profits from your engagement. Real wealth building happens when you minimize that engagement, when you keep your money away from the fee extractors. This does not mean you never need professional help. If you have a complex tax situation, hire a CPA. If you need estate planning, hire an attorney. If you want a financial plan created, hire a fee-only planner who charges a flat rate for the plan, not a percentage of your assets forever. Pay for specific services. Do not pay someone to manage your money in perpetuity when index funds can do it better for nearly free. The system is designed to make you feel like you need help, like investing is too complicated for regular people, like you will make costly mistakes without professional guidance. But the costliest mistake is paying someone 1% of your wealth every year for the rest of your life when you could do it yourself for 0.04%. That couple at the beginning of this video, the ones losing $64,000 to hidden fees, they thought they were being responsible. They thought they were building wealth the right way, and they were, just not their own wealth. They were building wealth for fund managers, insurance agents, financial advisors, and the institutions behind them. The right way is not the way that makes you feel responsible. The right way is the way that keeps the most money in your pocket. Low fees, simple strategies, automated investing, boring and effective. The financial industry has spent decades convincing you that you are not smart enough to manage your own money, that you need their expertise, that their fees are worth it, but you are smart enough. The math is not complicated, and their fees are not worth it. The data proves it year after year. Doing everything the right way keeps most people broke because the right way was designed by the people profiting from it. Real wealth building starts when you stop following their script and start following the math.